What Radu, Yagungudio Rigantarba Ujets. I'm the Executive Director of the Ganyakahaga Ungwana Ratachokwa Language and Cultural Center. We want to let the community know that the issue that we've all been facing at the moment, we've heard that we need to have a community decision about how to move forward. We are planning a meeting on Monday, June 18th at 6 p.m. at the Knights of Columbus, and we invite everybody to come out to this meeting.
All right, so let's get started. First of all, this issue has been going on for about a week now, and it all comes down to the feasibility study. This little wooded area that comes into question, and some people are saying needs to be protected. The decision to go to this location was made a while back. It's not final, is that correct?
It's a proposed location. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So what is the process right now, just so people are clear?
When it came time for us to do the feasibility study, it was made known to us that we had to choose one location. When we first started thinking about the idea of a new building and looking at proposed locations, we did go to the community, to technical services. I can't even think
the
of
lands
it.
unit.
Lands unit, to see what lands were available for the proposed building. Land was given to us based on services, water and sewage, based on size of the land, that it would be able to hold a building of the size that we thought we would need, and also just to fit in with the vision of what the cultural center was looking for. So 3 sites were presented to us, and as a team that included myself and Trina Dybel and some of our board members, as well as representatives from the theater group, Jessica Hernandez and Brittany LeBourne, Anime Goodleaf Rice, who's a board member of ours, as well as a past employee. We actually put on our billy boots and wore our pants, and we went out onto these sites to look at them and to get a feel for them, number one, but then also just to look at them as objectively as we can and see what were the positives and the benefits to each location. We did narrow it down to KSS as the preferred location, proposed location. And because we had to choose upon one site. It would be great to be able to conduct the types of studies that were required as part of the feasibility study on all of the locations, but we weren't able to. I mean, that does come down to time and money as well. We could not, do the feasibility study based on all 3 locations. We did have to narrow it down. So as a board, the decision was made with the recommendation, from us, what we thought about the site. But in the end, it was a board decision, as well as staff decision with input.
If I can ask, where were the other sites that were considered or presented as possible locations?
Yeah, one site was right behind the Kahnawake Sports Complex. So, you would go in, you see the parking lot and then the sports complex, and it would be behind that. We went there, but some of the issues that we had were we didn't want to, impede on any possible expansion ideas that might be in place for the sports complex. There was also only one point of entry, and in terms of safety, that's not necessarily ideal for us, to have only one point of entry. We did explore other ideas of, having a possible entry or exit, but then that would be on the highway, and that would require a lot of negotiation that we were told wasn't necessarily favorable for us. So that was definitely one. I know that there was, at the last community meeting that we had, an information session last Thursday. We did talk also about there is a dead zone in that area as well. And in terms of technology and the use of technology in today's world, that was another sticking point for us. The second location that we looked for was behind Karinianuha School, and it would kind of go towards the quarry. So we did go there and we did look at the site. It was excellent, you know. The feel in there for sure was definitely favorable. You could hear the community, you could hear the bustling, you know, throughout the day. You could hear the children playing, you could hear the cars. You got a sense of community for sure in that area. But again, entry. You know, entry and exit became an issue as well. The only entry into that particular area would be through the road that goes through the apartments, and there's a home directly there on the road. So that would impede, you know, stop buses from being able to go through and then driving right through that residential area. It's not favorable for sure. We did explore the idea of having a road built, another road built. The only place that seemed a likely location for that would have been between Step by Step and Gurunianuha. Again, there was a safety issue because of the two schools being there. So it wasn't favorable again for that reason.
Okay, because, yeah, I guess in some minds, some people are thinking that, oh, well, there's no thought put into this. It's
Oh,
just
no.
we had this idea and
No.
that's it.
No, no.
Just want to be clear on that.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Yeah.
Also, I'd like to add on to what Lisa said about why that site, and that is there's a variety of reasons. There's the access to the services that are already there, water and sewage. The access adjacent to KSS and the possible partnerships and collaborations that are possible through the education center, KSS possibly having a drama program and using the theater, using our classrooms and our studios for possible projects. The area that we have, what we're planning to cultivate with medicine walks, medicine trails, outdoor garden, Ruddy Wadir that's planting a garden, all these possible wonderful ideas that could be done in partnership with the Kahnawake Survival School and the Education Center. The possibilities are just, they're so endless, and they just complete our vision of wanting to be in that area and cultivating it. In addition, this was the vision of the community members who put together, who started the Cultural Center 40 years ago. We are celebrating our 40th anniversary this year, 2018. So that was the original vision of being in that area. There was actually a foundation in that area. So these are the reasons why that area.
The feasibility study itself, is it dependent upon that one particular spot?
For this feasibility study, yes, it is, because it has been built around the narrative, the complete narrative and the idea. Within the feasibility study is completely based around that location. Mm-hmm. You know, the idea, and we do have some pictures here of some designs, conceptual designs that were developed as part of the feasibility study, and you'll see that we do have, you know, a lot of, we have 3 different concepts, and the idea is to have the building, you know, it's to cultivate the land there and to have the building, the concept for the building and the vision for this project and the building fits within that environment. It completely fits in. And so the narrative and everything that's involved, the archaeological dig and all the other components of the study, the requirements of the study are actually based upon that particular proposed location. So yes.
Mm-hmm. I know the study, there are deadlines.
Yes, there are.
And people have talked about that, and some are saying that maybe it's a false deadline, or you're just saying that. But what happens if there is a default, for example, and like the study isn't done? Because, you know, the funding agencies all have requirements, and there's not just one. There are a lot of groups working together that you have to deal with. So what happens if there's a default here?
Do you want to answer that, Trina?
So we verified with finance, you know, to be sure, and we also have to go through legal. But if we default, the maximum is we would have to just, you know, pay back the $240,000. Or what surplus, but there is no surplus because the study was at its end. We were at the end of the study, and the extension has been requested. and it's very favorable, and we'll be doing, having a discussion on that next week with the funders on the study. So it's favorable, but the extension is to complete the study on the site.
On the proposed
So I
location.
guess, once we have the meeting with the community, we'll be able to have more information on what we're asking
And I guess
in terms of the extension.
And I guess the question has to be asked, it's a study.
Yes.
What happens if it comes back and they say, well, you know what, it doesn't meet the requirements? Is that possible?
It definitely is. I mean, it is a feasibility study, so until we have all of the information required that the study is requiring of us, we do not have any answers. So definitely, we don't know what the results will be. At the end of this, it could not be feasible. And then we would have to pick another location and do a study over again. I think the implications in terms of not being able to get this study done, number one, like Trina said, the maximum in terms of financial is that we would have to pay back the full $240,450. But I just want to mention that a proposal was submitted and monies were given through Aboriginal Initiatives Fund and Canadian Heritage for that proposal. So the actual cost for the feasibility study did not come from community dollars. Should we default, then as a community, we are responsible to pay that back, and then there will be a cost to the community. It also will not look good should we default and not meet the deadline for this feasibility study in terms of future proposals to submit for further feasibility studies. We need to make good on this study and meet the deadline.
And one thing to add to that is, should all the tests be done, everything, and it comes back that the site, the land is not feasible to sustain a building like this, and we've submitted everything on our end, we've met all of our requirements, and we submitted that, and it comes back as that, well, we're not in default. That
Yes.
It's good for us.
The other question that comes to my mind is that this wooded area that we're talking about, it's not really a forest, it's a wooded area. Let's be honest about that. How big is it, and how much of space is actually being looked at in terms of this project? Because people need to get, I guess,
Yeah.
more of a visual in their mind that how much of this is it's going to take up.
Yes. Actually, what we're looking at, the proposed location for this building is located on SLS 11, which has been deemed for economic use, for commercial use. That particular lot is approximately 14.3 acres. What this project for the cultural center, the museum, and the theater, the proposed site that we're looking at is 3 acres within that 14.3. I know that there have been maps that have been circulating throughout the community that have been either enlarged or zoomed in to make the actual site look bigger than it actually is, but it is 3 acres within 14.3, approximately 14.3.
And that includes the building and the...
It includes the project in its entirety. The actual requirements for the project itself in terms of building and parking and that, et cetera, is 1.07. We thought it was 1.7, it's 1.07 acres. The proposed site that we're looking for is 3 acres, and that would allow for natural paths to walk, amongst the trees, medicine walks. There's an idea, the concept, there's one where we have an outdoor kitchen situated farther in the back. So again, we've said we're looking to cultivate. So within that vision, having the 3 acres would allow for that, for natural walkways and pathways and medicine walks and for us to utilize,
Can I
the land.
just add on that is that there's 41.75 acres that are for economic development in total. She specifically only mentioned SLS 11, but there's also 154 acres designated to education, which is side by. So in total, if you add the 41.7, the 14, or, well, the 41.75 plus the 154 for education, that's your total. I'm not a mathematician, but that's your total acreage in the wooded forest area.
Somebody suggested that maybe looking at the original KSS site, that was a suggestion that came from somewhere. Was that given any thought, or?
It has been discussed, but the information that we're giving out, which is the reality, is that number one, the old KSS site was never offered as an option. It was not offered as an option. We've heard it many times. Why not the old KSS site? We have discussed it, but for reasons we question as well. Well, why wasn't the new KSS site put there? There is a plant nearby. My stepmother worked there as well, and I know that once she left there, she suffered a lot of illnesses afterwards. There's reasons why we as a staff and we as a board do not want to go there, and that's, I can understand that it's being offered as an idea, and I want people to realize that we have considered it. We've considered it many times over the years, but first and foremost, it was not offered to us.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Just again for clarity. One of the things I saw, some information there, and it was a little bit concerning, was the use of the term, because we've been using in Kahnawake over the past couple of years now, multi-purpose building, because
Yes.
it is the cultural center, first and foremost.
Yes,
Looking at a museum which we've never really had a bona fide museum.
yes.
And a theater. So it encompasses a lot. The term that has been used is something that I was a little disturbed was, it's a multi-purpose commercial building.
No, not at all. It is a multi-purpose building for the reasons that you stated. It would house the cultural center as well as, I like that term, bona fide museum. We do have a museum here, but not one that's up to the current standards, of a museum, and as well as the theater. Maybe the terms are just getting mixed up because the lands that we are looking at for the proposed location of this site is actually been deemed commercial, but at no time is this building it's not a multi-purpose commercial building. It is a multi-purpose building to house the theater, the culture and language center, as well as the museum, museum as well still falls under
The cultural
the
center.
cultural center. That is under our mandate.
I'm not gonna bother with any more questions on the site, except for one final one.
Okay.
Because it did come up, about this current site where we're conducting this
Yes,
interview right
yes.
now. Has that been considered, and what are the reasons why it's not being looked at right now?
Definitely, it has been considered. First off, the building that we're currently located in, if you look at it, we're stretching the limits of the land as is. The building takes up the entire space of this particular site. Simply, there's not enough space in here for us to be able to do the business that we do. We only have the 2 classrooms. We have no storage space whatsoever. I mean, all of us have many things stored in our offices. If you look in here, this is the library. We have all of, these are items for our museum, and they're being stored in the library as well as within offices. We do not have the storage space in this building. We've outgrown this building a long time ago. So no, and even this particular site as well, you only have the one point of entry in terms of safety. There should be an entry route as well as an exit route. And then also in terms of if we were to take down this building and rebuild on this particular site, which number one is not big enough to accommodate this project, but even if it were just to be a building for the cultural center, it would not be big enough. We would have to suspend services of the cultural center, the language and cultural center, which in essence would mean where would we house all of the employees here who do a lot of work for the community? Where would we put the students and the teachers for the Radiwana Nirlats program? We have the Radiwana Nirlats program that goes on 2 classes that are taking place. Where would we put the Danawa Guardians? Right? There's a lot that our organization does throughout the year, and there is no way that we could suspend our services to allow for that. But the end being that this site, number one, is not big enough. It isn't.
And it's a reality that right now with our students, with the number of increased students in our Ready When Near That's program, we had to negotiate with the Knights of Columbus for additional parking.
Yes.
Because we don't even have enough
Parking space.
So there's your reality.
Yes.
One of the other realities is that even in something like this, which is a non-political entity, you're talking about culture, language, arts, you know, history, all of that, there are always some who are going to, you know, try and make a political issue out of it. And some people are concerned that, well, since it's a new building, it's obviously the MCK's building.
Yes.
So can you answer on that behalf, and what does this mean? Because there is a partnership to get this project done.
For sure.
And there is, so just maybe you can, you know, fill us in on that.
It is a community building that we're looking at building. You know, again, it's a study for a concept for a new building, but it would be, should it be built, it is a community building. I mean, the cultural center, we're not able to submit proposals and to acquire the amount of money that would be required to put together a building of this size. MCK has been assisting us with the proposals, with the use of this awesome technician here, Trina. I love her. The work that she's done, it's been amazing, you know. And we ourselves as a staff and as an organization are not in the position that we would be able to do that type of work or have the expertise, but or even have the authority to be able to get monies for this project. I don't know if Regan wants to expand on that.
Yes, I second definitely what Lisa was saying about the support that we received from MCK. In essence, all community buildings in Kahnawake are MCK managed, overseen, etc. By MCK. We're not denying that. So when this building is built, they will be managing and be responsible for maintenance, snow removal, etc. And assuming any of the risk that comes with that as well. But when it comes down to our programming and our services, the museum, Ready When Near, that's all cultural center, and there's no denying that. This is going to be our building. We're going to run our programs. The same with the theater as well. So they're assisting us, but it is almost like an arm's length as well.
It is at arm's length. They are assisting us. They are offering all of their expertise and actually all of the risk involved with this project in terms of the financial and in terms of the cultural center and the theater. This building is being built exclusively for the use of the cultural center, for the museum and the theater, and we've been given complete decision making. There has been a memorandum of understanding that has been agreed upon, I think it was last year, between MCK, the Cultural Center, and the theater. And in that agreement, that just solidifies the autonomy of the theater and the Cultural Center, you know, within that agreement. So MCK in no way will be interfering with the operations at all of the Cultural Center or the theater. And we want to thank them for that. You know, we could not have done this without them. And to be allowed, because we know it is a community building, being built for us and being allowed to have complete say in everything that goes with that building and the entire process. We've been involved.
We don't have much more that we need to talk about. Are there any other concerns that you've had over this past week because of, you know, there's the protests that have been going on, and meetings going on, and is there anything else that we didn't cover in here that we need to talk about?
I think that we're just holding steadfast to what was stated at the community meeting on Thursday, that we are looking in no way to engage or promote or just contribute to any violence or any violent confrontations that are taking place. Our goal right now is to give out the information to the community in the best way that we can, to be as factual as we can, and really not feed into the misinformation that's going out there. Myself, I have not been reading anything. I haven't been commenting on anything or watching anything. I'm just trying to remain focused on the project at hand and the best way to get this study done. So as a group, we are not committed. We are committed to not engaging in any confrontations or any protests or having any violence, especially amongst our people, against our people. We're not for that. So we're here and we're focused on getting out the information. There will be, as Regan said, a meeting on Monday, June 18th at 6 p.m. at the Knights of Columbus. We asked the community to come out. There can be some information. There'll be opportunity for some information to be given or questions to be answered. But that night will also be a night where we are asking for the community to make a decision. So for those people who want to make a decision and have a say, because it's been said and we agree that the community should have a say, that is the night we are going to be asking the community for a decision to allow us to have this study to be completed. So we're inviting everybody to come out. In the meantime, we have met with several people within the community. We've been in nonstop meetings. We've been contacted by interested or concerned community members as well, asking to meet with us, and we're doing our best to accommodate that. And so we are available. So if anybody does have any questions, if they weren't able to attend last week's meeting, or they feel that they're not getting the information that they need from here or from the fact sheets that we've distributed, they're more than welcome to contact us here at the Cultural Center and either ask for myself or Regan Tarbell, or to call MCK and to speak to Trina. We're the ones that are the most knowledgeable about the project, and we welcome any questions and the opportunity to get out the information as best as we can. So, Nyala.